One of the most common things that we work with our clients on is dealing with overwhelm. There's so much going on. There's lots of innovations around AI. There's some FOMO around that, fear of missing out. And what do I do? Emails are coming in, or they're getting blocked by spam, or there's a whole lot of stuff going on. So most of our clients start from a position of feeling really stressed and just overwhelmed by everything that's going on. And they don't feel that they have enough time to get things done. And some of them are thinking that the way they can buy back their time is by automations, by setting in some smart CRM system that's going to create a nurture sequence around emails. Now, those processes are fine, right? There's some value in that. But for a lot of them, it's more that they haven't even worked out what they want to say. If you haven't worked out what you want to say, then don't automate it. Be human about it. Respond to people just organically through email processes. But to be able to do that, you need more time in your day. You need to start being smarter on where you spend your time and how much attention it takes away from you doing other things. So, one of the biggest things we try to do is to get people out of their inbox. Your inbox is the biggest time sink that you're ever going to deal with in your business, or even as an employee. You're going to be reactive to those notifications that ping. Hey, you have mail. You need to feel like you need to respond. And we've created this in our own selves by allowing our the expectations to be set that when you send me an email, I'll respond to you within 30 minutes, an hour, etc. We need to reset that. We need to reset ourselves and our thinking around email. Email is not instant messaging. It's hitting send and hoping for a reply. If you get a response within 24 hours, that's a good response rate. But my business wouldn't survive. Yes, it would. We need to set those boundaries and those expectations. Same as your time away from the keyboard, away from work. We need to set some boundaries. So how can we use technology, specifically Microsoft 365, to achieve these outcomes? So I'm going to jump across into 365. So Microsoft365.com, this is where everything starts. And what we want to do is we're going to look for a couple of little apps that are going to help us out here. The first one I'm going to draw your attention to is Insights. If it's not here, you'll find it in your Explore All apps. The other ones we're going to talk about is Bookings, and I'm going to also talk about To Do, because all of this stuff starts coming together because it's all linked back here to Outlook. Now, the first off, I'm going to jump across into my email. And you can see I've got lots of emails. I've got lots of folders here. I've even got some shared mailboxes that I'm monitoring as well. So you can imagine it's pretty busy, right? As a business owner, I've got to have visibility of what's going on across everything. Now, one of the things that I like doing first of tackling this email problem is get rid of the junk. And 365 has a cool tool called Sweep, which you'll find only in the web version or the new Outlook, which is based on the web version. It allows you to pick on a particular sender, in this case, no reply at youtube.com, and say, look, I've already acknowledged this. It's a notification. I don't really need to read it or keep it in my mailbox. So I'm going to hit Sweep, and I'm going to say move all messages from the inbox folder to deleted items. Really simple. So if I tap this, any messages from that is going to go to those messages, to the deleted items. I can say another one here. We have this notification for our sync system. And again, I can do the same. Now, I do this on a semi-regular basis and can get rid of thousands and thousands of messages in the matter of minutes. Typically I'll spend about an hour going through every other weekend, sorting out my mailbox and trying to clear it out. The other thing we've got is other and focused. Microsoft 365 is doing a fairly good job at identifying emails that need your attention and those that don't. Newsletters and other things that you're not going to get to are going to go in here. Interesting thing about email newsletters is you probably, unless you're going to read it right there and then, you're not going to get back to it. So just delete it. There's no need to keep it. If you feel that you need to keep it, move it into another folder outside of your inbox. Okay, now we're starting to get a handle on our mailbox. The next thing we want to do is let's talk about our time and, more importantly, our headspace. How do we deal with this? So there's a app called Viva Insights. If you've got a Microsoft 365 business account, you will have access to it. And what it does is it's got some cool videos from Headspace and other things to help you regain your balance and regain your center and just sort of give you some techniques. And this is curated by some really smart people, smarter than me, by a long, long way, around dealing with those mental stress that we all face. And whether you're an employee or a business owner, this is really, really important. The next thing we want to have a look at is around things like focus time and quiet time, right? These two areas are really important in terms of dealing with certain things. We've also got this thing called a virtual commute. If you're like me and you work from home, chances are your commute is standing up from your chair and walking out of your office. That's it. We don't have that break period which allows us to decompress as we leave the office, jump in our car or catch the train or bus and travel 30 minutes or an hour to home. So this allows you to set a virtual commute, which is basically a time when you're supposed to down tools, stop about thinking about everything, go and just gather your thoughts and have a little bit of quiet time. So we can change these settings in here. So for focus plans, now I generally set for 1 hour focus time from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. every morning. Now we have to move this around because there's other competing things, but that's the goal. Now it's very important why I set that particular time of my day for focus time. And it also, you notice here that I'm muting notifications during this time, right? We can also go and have a look. If I go back into settings, if I go back, we've got down here, quiet time. Now I've got a quiet time from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. every day. Every day, in terms of that. And I mute mobile notifications all day on Saturday and Sunday. Why? Because I'm protecting my personal time. I still do check messages, etc., but it's on my terms. I'm not going to get notified and get those, those pesky notifications that you feel obligated to respond to. By putting up quiet time, we're setting boundaries for ourselves. Now, these times might not suit you. You might want to extend it. They're not going to match your business hours because you're going to have a few hours grace either way. So you can come in here and change all of those sorts of things as well. You can also specify things like lunch hours, really important to take a break midway through your day. So set that and it's going to book out your time as that being your focus time during your lunch hour. And you can also plan for no meeting days, right? So these are the other things around no meeting days. Now I do this regularly. I try to avoid booking meetings on a Monday, except for VIPs. Right, so that's another way of carving out my time so that I can get other things. Why do I use Mondays? Well, I'm not a particular big fan of Mondays, and it also allows me to spend time planning and deciding what the week ahead is going to look like. So that's Viva Insights. There's a lot of other things, and I do implore you to go and investigate that. The last thing I want to, or a final thing I want to do is come back into emails. It's not the final thing. We'll come back to bookings in a minute. So now we've got our quiet time, we've got our focus time, we can get stuff done. So why is this focus time important? Every morning from 8 a.m., the first thing I do is I come into email, I go through and review my emails, the unread messages, new ones that have come in, respond to the ones that I can straight away, delete the ones that are rubbish, or just notification I don't need. And flag, yes, flag the mail messages that I know I need to follow up. And I don't have the capacity or time within that 60-minute allocation of my focus time in the morning. I need to follow this up later in the day. It needs further investigation, or I need to go and do some activity like calling the person back for whatever reason. Why is that important? It's important because over here in To Do, here are where your flagged emails go. So all those flagged emails are in here, right? So we've got all those flagged emails. Now I've got quite a few in here that I need to go and follow up on, and that's fine. But now they're tasks. And what I can do is set this. I actually need to action this today. So I'm going to action that one to say that I need to today. This one here, I'm going to action for tomorrow, etc., etc. Now, the mere fact that we set a date there, a reminder or a follow-up time, right? So the mere fact that we actually specify this at a due date, that one's tomorrow, I'm going to do this one tomorrow as well, and this one, right? So the mere fact that that happens, it now shows up in my day. Anything that's due today shows up in my day. So here's the tasks I need to complete today. Now you'll notice that I flagged a few for tomorrow, meaning I'll already have tasks available for me to do tomorrow. So the process is I go through my emails, respond to the ones that I can right there in the moment. It might be with a meeting request or anything else. If I can do it within 30 seconds and I can respond, I respond. Everything else I flag. Then once I've completed my mailbox clean out, I come back into my tasks, into To Do, and identify when those things are going to be followed up. Now I've got a structure of when I'm going to do things. I've got some categorizing and filtering out everything that I need to do. Guess what I'm going to do with Outlook? I'm going to ignore it. I'm going to mute notifications. Emails aren't important. The only thing that's important in Outlook now is my calendar. So I can come back into my calendar and I can focus on the meetings I have today and start planning for those today. I use color codes, etc., so I know which ones are really important, etc. So I've got all these meetings that I need to go and follow up with today, so I can start planning for this. That's what I do at the latter end of my focus time. But I've now got to work out how do I book time with others, or how do others book time with me? I'm glad you asked. This is what the Bookings app is. The Bookings app allows us to create bookings. You've heard of Calendly and you've had those links that you get sent. Pick a time and you can book in. The cool thing about the Bookings app is if you send this to someone else who also has a Microsoft account, it can cross-check between both of your calendars, their calendar and your calendar. They log in and it can see your calendar. It can see their calendar. And it will tell them, the person that you're trying to book time with, which ones are available on both calendars. Really simple, and it really does save time. The other advantage is of having it as a Microsoft account as well, is that when you log in, it already knows who you are. It's already got your email address. It's already got your name. That's in your user profile. So when you go to pick the time that's available, because I have a green tick against it, then you click book. The only thing you have to do is put in a comment and book it in. Job done. Goes into your calendar, goes into their calendar, Teams meeting is booked. We're all great. We're going to meet up on that particular day. Now, how do we create these? And there's two types we can create, a public or a private. Public is for people who you don't know, right? Therefore, you can publish this on your website. It's always available. And you might have one or two or maybe even 5 or 6 different types or styles of meeting that people can book you in for. They just pick the one that's appropriate for their needs. So we can just give it a title for that. We can categorize it if we want. We've got a description. This is more for the recipient or the person who's doing the booking to understand what this is all about. You can use emojis and things up in here to sort of brighten up that particular calendar. But the most important thing, especially for public meetings, is to change your availability. Instead of having book any time during my week, you can say, you know what, I don't want to speak to people I don't know on a Monday or a Friday. I'm going to leave those ones open. So it's only a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday that you can book. The reason you want to do this is then that gives you the ability to create some private links for VIPs, existing clients, or other people you really want to talk to. You may also create different times or availability for certain days of the week to deal with international people, right? I'm in Australia. Time zones in the US and in Europe and the UK don't necessarily line up well with time zones here in Australia. So I can create very special booking links for those people. Now, a private link is only going to be available for either a one-time click to go and book or for a period of time, usually about 30 days. The other things we can do with bookings is set buffer times so that you've got before and after. We can set the intervals it can be booked for and lead times. Now, for public, don't allow people to book more than a day, less than a day in advance. The reason being is you've gone through that focus time to go through and determine when what you're going to be doing for the day. And if you allow people to book with only an hour's notice, I'll guarantee you'll miss the meeting. Guarantee it, right? It's too quick, too fast, you're not expecting it. Why? Because you're not monitoring your emails anymore. So the other thing is maximum lead time. Unless your services are that you need to book in every 6 or 12 months, you generally want to keep this 30 days or less. Why? Because people are trying to get in touch with you. Don't leave them so long that they forget why they even booked in. They're not likely to show up, or they've solved their problem and then you can't help. The other ones that you can do is, we talked about automation, so let's take advantage of email reminders. Nothing worse than having someone book in 30 days out and they forget to show up because they don't get a reminder to say that they're going to be there. So we can create reminders, and you can create multiple reminders, maybe a week out, the day before and then an hour before you're supposed to be there. It's up to you how often you send those reminders. But don't send too many, because you're going to annoy people, because you just cluttered up their mailbox. The other thing is follow-ups. Really important to have a follow-up email to say, thanks for booking. This is what happens after this particular process. And if you need to get back in contact, you can click on this link or you can book in again. Right? So your messages, will change, but it's some simple automation to be able to keep in touch with that person. You don't have to go and get any fancy software. So that's how you can start to carve back time, how you can get your time back, how you can start to manage your time more effectively and stop that overwhelm. Got too much stuff, too many notifications and everything coming in. Because, by the way, those quiet times and focus times is also going to mute notifications from Teams. Not just notifications from emails coming in, but it's also going to mute your Teams notification. Now, it might be a bit of a problem where you need to be more responsive for that. So you can go and adjust those settings to break through, or even set VIPs that can always message you irrespective of your quiet time or focus time settings. But do take advantage of these tools. Take advantage of the ability to master your inbox, to control your time, and to give yourself space to get stuff done. Then you'll find more time to achieve the results you're looking for. I hope you found that helpful. Bye for now, and I'll see you next time.